We'll just wait till everybody's settled now. I trust you are being well entertained here. You seem to be enjoying it, sir. You know the beautiful thing? This. I find if the foundation has a group and I'm not there, it falls off they make curves and they fall off the curve somewhere. Need somebody who knows how to keep everything right on target. Because we start to miss. There's only one theme in life. Very simple theme. Somehow I know how to keep to it. I know how to build more of my arguments from it and take it back to it, like going up and down the scales of a piano. And then the music that comes from that is the variation of the theme, like variations. Not that I know much about music, but if that's the case, not the case, please stop me. Now tomorrow, I know that some of you here are just guests. Tomorrow, you have to cough. Here are just guests. Tomorrow, you have to cough up. Because it's very expensive to come all the way from America and live in this nice hotel. So if you'd like to finish off the seminar with us, you're very welcome to stay the rest of the day and enjoy it. To finish off the seminar with us, you're very welcome to stay the rest of the day and enjoy it. And it's not very expensive. It does help to pay the bill. If I leave this place, it'll probably break even this time, but still I want to be able to reach this country. We have an organization to see if we can't get on. We have an organization to see if we can't get on radio here. See if we can't buy a radio station or do something to shake these people up. See, before they sort of nerd themselves out of existence. Was it you that just told me that you... And life's never been the same? Yeah, cruel, yeah. You didn't get better right away, but you're gradually getting better every day, aren't you?
Well, having a go at some woman about something or another, so unbelievable. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes in with the same sort of problem. They had a father who had been angry, and you say, well, that's the whole problem. You resent your father.
Yes.
And it was like a point lifted off me.
You know what's awful is that physical illnesses, diseases, can disappear. I mean this, not mental illness, not only that, mental becomes physical. And if you just look at that particular point, a physical illness disappearing just because you understood the word, do it, what did it? Something magical called understanding transforms. And you have no idea how far that can go if you perceive it's slow. I'm not saying that, gold isn't going to fall from the sky. Yes, young lady.
Thank you for making me better. And I'd like to see you something else. When I was a baby, I was molested by the doctor, and he turned me into a whore, even though I was only one. And I've been a whore all my life till now, trying to seduce. When I say a whore, I mean I don't whore from the street.
Right.
But I'm trying to seduce every man, and look what I look. I mean, I'd hardly be called beautiful, but I was. I have to forgive this man so I can be
Free.
free.
Right.
And after that, he gave me dangerous drugs and sent me to drug addict, the same stuff.
Did your mother take you to this doctor?
Oh, it was her fault.
Oh,
We
good.
weren't allowed to say a word against him.
Oh, I
He
see.
could do whatever he liked with us. To make you. And that
Right.
was my next step. I just want to thank you for
That's
showing
sweet.
me the way.
That's sweet. So, listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to, put myself out of business. I'm torn between making you dependent and making you independent, but not really. Because I know that if if I can help, know that if I can help you to be your own people, functioning from the same intelligence that God gives all of us liberally, not making us liberals, I mean, but if you could function from that common sense you were born with, you're going to be my friends. And you're going to be my friends. And I want to thank, the foundation people who have heard me over the years and have got well, for putting on this seminar and working hard. They do it all for free, and it's very nice. Just like Radio Caroline, they're all over there doing it for free. Thank you very much. Get this show on the road. And you people, once you've understood, once you start to understand it, you start opening it up like a flower. Understanding leads to understanding. It's never ending. Never ends. And then you start to grow as a light. And then you start to grow as a light in this dark world. And each one of you will become a conduit through which light passes and starts to affect others. And then they grow and take the light and go on to others. And how I see it this way. If there was a first man, Adam, it was like the first seed of an oak tree. An oak tree has within it, a seed has within it the whole tree. But not only that, it has a whole forest and became nations. See? And within their natures, they carry this seed of error. This is what the Christians call original sin. And to be born in sin is to be born bonded. And to be born in sin is to be born bonded, a slave. And Sunday will be a good day to talk about, maybe Monday, a good day to talk about, if anybody wants to understand religion, to really understand what it means. I mean, it'll fry you scriptures of all, and I'm not going to turn you into religious Bible-carrying freaks. But if you understood the origin and destiny, and obviously the need for some saving grace, some intercession to save you from the hypnosis of life. What is to save you from hypnosis? A flawed man. And so therefore, if one flawed man saves you from another flawed man, how better off are you? See? There has to become that which is perfect. You have to love that which is perfect. That's why you have to become perfect. Scripture says it. That which is perfect. That's why you have to become perfect. Scripture says it. That's why you have to become perfect. I didn't say you had to be. The whole art of life is the becoming. God is perfect. We are becoming. And we're always in the act of becoming because we're always in the act of obedience. Is that right? Obedience to all the things you suffer. You hold fast. There's your stress. The Christians don't talk like this. When I go to Reverend David Hunter, who is a great fan of mine and writes in the magazine we have, is the Church of England priest, loves what I'm doing. He stood up in that little tower up there. And I talk to people like I talk to you right now. Well, all the parishioners drop their monocles in their soups. Oh! How dare you bring this man in here? What was I saying? Am I saying anything offensive? I've even saying. What was I saying? Am I saying anything offensive? I've even saying what they're saying is right. These people, they're like moles. They're like policemen. Well, not policemen, but crooks who are dressed up in a policeman's uniform. That's what religious people are. Crooks. In a policeman's uniform. That's what religious people are. Crooks. Dressed up in religious uniforms, pretending to be something they're not. Think that makes them righteous. I love my preacher, I love my prayers. They never talk about anything meaningful. They shake them. You start to tell them what they're like and what they must be do to be saved. In reality, they fall apart. They want to throw stones at you. Right on? Yes, young lady. Why don't you come all the way forward? You're such a you're such a pretty lady too. Why don't you come forward? A bad back. You probably got a bad backbone. Pardon? Sure. Of course there's a danger. Yes, the lady says, in case you didn't hear it, there's a danger of misusing me. See, but so no danger of misusing me. See, but so in other words, well, you know, I'm fairly handsome, presentable. Get rid of this belly, I'll be all right. But I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there. Life's journey, isn't it? My job is to exhort you to that same journey. But you've got to be very careful I don't attach you to me. I'm not your Savior, and I never can be. There is only one Savior, and I in Him. Pardon me, resorting to poor English. Maybe you could put it this way: Him is shining in me. It's the same thing as the good Father, who's that good is shining in him. When it's tested, it reveals itself. If I was a champion boxer, I would not be known as a champion boxer unless I come against another champion and I beat him. Suddenly, first of all, I'm defeated. Now I come back from my championship fight and I beat my opponent. I shine. See, and when your children, and when your wives, and when your husbands do their little number on you, you will shine. And it's not a battle of wills. See, it's a matter of surrendering to a higher principle, surrendering to what is revealed in secret to you about what is in life. When I said that encompasses everything I just said this morning. And that there's a higher reason, and it's always been in you. It's always been talking to you in a wordless way. But the words and the emotions that are attached to words have outshouted it and dislodged it. It's very delicate. The relationship between your Creator is very delicate. Poor old Adam was in the garden a few hours before he blew it. Poor old Adam was in the garden a few hours before he blew it, just eating the wrong fruit. Well, it wasn't just the wrong fruit. And look at what happened to the human race ever since. We're all born subject to that system of things. There is a divine justice, because if everyone was given that same choice, we'd all make the wrong thing and we die. And there'd be no hope. But the neat thing about it is that we're born. You never had that choice. You don't even know what truth is. You have to search for it. He knew what it was, but we don't. We are so far removed from one animal mother to an animal father, all the way down to where you are. None of us have never known the truth, but we have it in our back of our mind somewhere, like letting us know that something, they're not right to me, boy, you know. They're not right to me. You've got something inside telling you there's something wrong with the way the world is. And it's geared into the world. And something inside you is not happy with that. You are not happy. There are some people who are happy with it. They'll go all the way to their death, doing the same old thing, spending every penny, every moment focused away on pornography, God knows what. Just trying to focus away on pornography, God knows what. Just trying to find gratification in every possible form, looking for the elusive pleasure, only to find greater pain, and yet making pleasure their, ultimate happiness. Sort of hedonistic, or hedonistic. But you're here because you can't make that work for you. That's a good sign, because it means you love your Creator. You love your Creator. That's what it means. It's not some mysterious going to church and throwing yourself down on front of the pulpit and nothing like that at all. Is that you cannot be satisfied with anything except that it's true. You've been looking for it, but there's something in you that's so true that you don't even know you have, that it will not be satisfied with a substitute, and it can sense a substitute. It recoils emotionally and gets tangled up with it. You see? Do you understand all these things, these simple things, don't you? You recognize your own self? So I had that since I was a kid. I was lucky. I made it. I've made it this far. I don't think my circumstance. But the interesting thing is, my brother's nuts. So that tells you, it got one of us, and there was two of us. We came the same mother and father. What happened to him? He's as fruity as a nutcake. I can't straighten him out. He hates me like poison, and I'm carefree. He's got to get into that to get away from him. He's totally artificially religious and righteous. Can't stand the brightness, the simplicity where I see things. Right? But on Monday or sometimes during the week, right? But on Monday or sometimes during the week, if you are interested, not that I will force it on you, I shall ask you all before I talk about religious subjects, but I will talk to you about them in ways that you have never heard before. So having said that, I won't bore you with it now, because there is a mystery. There is a mystery to our origin, and we're all born subject to this origin, which is basically hypnotic. And you see that you're bonded to the stress sources, a slave of it, trying to seek its approval. Some ugly, bizarre, revolting way. You love what you hate, and you hate what you love. Whichever way you go, the more you hate it, the more it becomes you. But the more it becomes you crying for what you hate to love you. Because it's created you. It's recreated itself in you. Because it's created you. It's recreated itself in you. You think you find this in psychology? Never. What I'm telling you now, you can search the whole world. You'll never find me telling it to you, anyone telling it to you as clean and as straight as I'm telling it to you.
Right. When you think of the rosary,
To you as clean and as straight as I'm telling it to you.
right. When you think of the rosary as a form of prayer,
Not much.
no, it's a repetitive prayer.
Not much. It's hypnotic. That's hypnotic.
Or places like Lourdes and
No, it's a pure.
people have been cured there.
Yeah, there's 60 people. There's about 10 million people go through there, and only 60 people get cured. There's something wrong.
Would it be 60?
The 60 million went through, didn't get anything. 60 million people go through here. There'll be more than 60 people get well. You don't need to go to Lourdes or any other place. You just need to understand. For example, they're talking about Lourdes. There's a man standing in line with an infirmity, long standing. I don't know what it was. And there's a long line waiting to go into to be dunked in the water. And suddenly he saw this old person who was far worse off than him, trembling and shaking, and something rose in his heart. He said, "Oh Lord, let that person go before me, and let him be healed instead of me." He got healed. It was the first pure thought that ever came in. That's all it took. Well, that wasn't Lourdes that did it. It wasn't the water that did it, but it's the Lord's cure. It's the Lord's cure. It was something happened to him in the spirit. It's always that way. It's not never the water. Be a catalyst for that happening. But I can be a catalyst. You're going to be a catalyst to somebody. As you get better at what you are, you're going to heal people. Just on being people around you. Or you can drive people up the wall. People will react to this innocence in you. People will react to this innocence in you. When you were a small kid, the reason why you are troubled today is because your parents or people around you, your guardians, hated you for the natural brilliance that you had. Is that right or not? You knew they hated you without a cause. They hated you without any reason at all. You go through life and find people that way. They just don't like you, and they act like you did something wrong, and they act like you're dirt. They're the dirt. They want to steal your happiness away. And it's their pleasure to do so. So what I am doing is trying to restore you to that lost doing is trying to restore you to that lost innocence. I'm saying you've always had it. For instance, if someone was to convince you that you're crazy, but you're not crazy, but supposing you doubt, supposing by the virtue of their strength and their presence, supposing by the virtue of their strength and their presence and their authority, and you're little and they're big, they convince you that you're stupid or that you're crazy. And you doubt, you know you're not crazy, but the way they have an attitude towards you, it penetrates you, and you think, well, maybe I am. Pretty soon you're acting crazy. The only reason why you're crazy is because you think you are. And you believe that you were. You believe the lie. But it works. The lie is in you. And it's inside you, and it works its way. It does its thing. It's like a seed. Sin. Adam believes a lie. He doesn't believe truth. God has surely said that you won't die. Never mind what he said. You'll become like a God, knowing good from evil. A God, knowing good from evil. Well, Adam doubts. Look what happened. It's the doubt, the root of your sickness. That the Bible, if you read it right and understand it, is a textbook, a psychological textbook of excellence. The priests don't understand it. Psychiatrists reject it because the way the priests teach it. It is exquisite. I have some books in there called the Adam and Eve Syndrome. If you read that, you'll understand your whole problem. The man-woman relationship. It's the same thing as Adam and Eve over and over again, replaying the same old, except compulsively. Once removed, they don't have the original choice. They just play it by compulsion. Each parent produces a child that is transmogrified by the parental madness and the parental madness of their mother or father. See, boys subject to the madness of their mothers, and girls subject to the craziness, to servicing the craziness their mothers set up in the boys. There it goes. It's all absolutely predictable. I can take each one of you people and tell you, predictable. I can take each one of you people and tell you what your life is going to be 20 years from now. I could write it, give you a prescription, and 20 years now you'll see it came true. I don't have to be smart. You're just playing this. I know the play. I've read it thousands of times. No one escapes it. No one escapes it. Yes, that's all right. No one escapes it. Nobody. Except you know the truth that makes you free. It's the truth. The same old story. Your story. Every man, you're either a wimp or a tyrant, but you're not a man. You can't deal with your wife. A wife, on the other hand, is either a wimp or a tyrant. She submits to the bully husband. See, the animal that she kind of was attracted to, thinking it would worship her. The animal that she kind of was attracted to, thinking it would worship her. You see? And so she either wimps it out into submission. She gives him all the sex he wants and all the pleasure he wants, and makes him turns him into a wimp, and emerges as the super will, the master will in the home. King Kong with bloomers. Or she is the wimp, and he is the dominant angry person. But the principle of will, hell on earth, the wrong. See, the next couple of days we can talk about where the entrance, why people sometimes get angry with me, because women especially get angry with me because they think I'm against women. I'm not against women. I love women. I love my wife. I love my daughters. I'm not against women. I love women. I love my wife. I love my daughters. I love my daughter-in-laws. I love my granddaughters. And they all love their grandpa. But I'm teaching them to be unlike women, those other women. Not to look. My daughter, fortunately, married a man See, because she loved her dad and respects her dad to such a degree, she would say, Dad, and my daughter's a smart girl. She's bright, sharp, intuitive. Do you see anything wrong with David? She was going with him 7 years. I said, Diane, if I would see something, I would tell her, but you know better. You have your own common sense. I brought you up. I trust your judgment. She would not marry. And she married a man that had the qualities I have. He's not perfect, but then he finishes off what I began, to bring her up and make her a real woman while becoming a man. See? And, well, on purpose is destroy men. You want to destroy the society, you destroy the man. Right now, in America, the whole focus is on the white male. Destroy him. He's an idiot. First of all, they destroyed the black male. You saw what happened. They liberated the black women. The government became, and look at it. Now they're working on, now they're getting, and they said, now the government says they're there. The government that creates the problem is now going to solve the problem. Because you got all these fatherless kids in the streets, and they got the programs for them and extra money for every child that these women produce. Well, they started with a society. Now they're going. It's working, because the more problems that are created, the more government is needed. You see, and that's a power thing.
Do you think it's conscious?
Absolutely planned. Not only conscious, but planned. Planned. Not only conscious, but planned. Your country is finished. It's only a matter of 5 years when you will have a communist state here, and you will have crime, and you're going to downbreed your nation. You're going to breed, downbreed your nation until there's nothing else but madmen and crazy people running the streets, violent criminals running the streets, and those violent criminals will be the special creation of certain kinds of despotic politicians, subtle demagogue politicians. They have created them. They're in cahoots with each other. That's why they're soft on crime, because they have created them for a purpose of using them as a battering ram to destroy the whole of society. See? So they have dictatorship power.
However, there are those of us who...
Can you stand up so you can see you?
However, there are those of us who can see exactly what's going on and just be...
Of course.
By the grace of the Heavenly Father through Jesus Christ and the power of the Holy Spirit, we should see things turn the other way.
Well, we hope so. Yeah, no, of course. Well, we hope so. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, hopefully that I can awaken you people, and see, the more people do not respond to the. Let me just be a little political for a little bit. It's all a mix. There's going to be what we call future shock. What's in the game is simply future shock. Future shock is this: that the more the government solves the problems they have created in ways that some people, right? The idea is to put as much stress on people as possible. The way you do that is to spend them and waste their money. Why do you think that the British government, or the government is now called American, but it's not our government anymore, it's already taken over. Why do you think they're wasting your money? That's to frustrate you. Why do you think they're wasting your money? That's to frustrate you. You can't do anything about it. You've got to pay your taxes, and wasting their money means on useless things, giving to undeserving people. You see, solving problems in a way that creates bigger ones.
Dyslexic.
Of course.
And I found out that now in our schools there are groups of people going around picking out children saying, you need pink lenses to be able to read. And all these
It's
children,
insanity.
and in the end the parents are paying £200 for a set of this is
But pardon?
They deserve it. They pay.
No, but the thing is, the trouble is, it's spreading.
Yes.
See, it's spreading in ever widening circles. So eventually, the people that would not give in to stuff like this, the mass of people doing it more, begin to break down the resistance of those who people doing it more, begin to break down the resistance of those who would not otherwise do it. See, they begin to. You see that?
Excuse me, in the area that I live, since these people have been round, I look at all the little boys that live in my area, and 60% of them have been labelled area, and 60% of them have been labelled either dyslexic, is it, or learning difficulties. I think these are ordinary kids.
They are.
In the moment.
They're purposely dysfunctionalizing them.
Yes.
They're dumbing down the kids and then liberating them to early sensuality, to demoralize them so that they're just animals and not men, and easily controlled. You see? But what you have in this country is very serious, and but the trouble is, individuals can't stand up and fight because the communication.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's opportunities.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying you can't do this, but up to this moment, we can have an organized way of dealing with it, but we need to have non-dysfunctional people at work. Otherwise, we're defeated before we start. We have to understand the name of the game. We're defeated before we start. We have to understand the name of the game of the enemy, the adversary, many of whom are simply conduits through which hell and insanity is passing. A lot of them are victims. They're creating victims. It's a whole society of victims creating victims. So what you're going to have is future shock. That is to say, victims creating victims. So what you're going to have is future shock. That is to say, that the pressures of our society will become so great because of the system I just mentioned, that the load of the problems, the crime and drugs and whatever it is that's going to happen down, it'll be the problem so huge that's going to happen down. It'll be the problem so huge that law and order cannot contain it. And then all of your liberties will be sacrificed. You'll have the chaos necessary for dictatorship, for a police state. That's what's going to happen. In other words, all of the problems that will be mounting up to such a point, you're going to have the daily pressures are so great that it has a hypnotic effect on the whole society. And you'll all give in. You're going to need someone to help you. And you'll be depending on the very person that's corrupted you in the first place. Same principle with an individual as it is with a nation. But if we teach you to stand back and not react to these little stresses, so that you don't come home one day because the taxes are so high that you're frustrated and you take your frustration out on your wife and your wife takes it out on your kids and you're all dysfunctional, then the government comes along and gives a program to help all of you but requires more taxes to do it. See? And it's going to screw you up even more. If we can not let you need them in the first place, because we'll teach you not to need them. We're the only ones that are going to make it. There will be a crash in society because I don't know how we can reach out to the others because we're just a fledgling group. The welfare, it was the welfare.
Everybody, all the newspapers are sick. Did you have it today or tomorrow or whenever? It's unbelievable what they're doing. It's unbelievable what they're doing.
No, but I want you to know that this is not by accident. No. Your national identity is being destroyed systematically. You are being systematic so that you cannot functionate as a sovereign nation and stand as a light against the world. The greatest threat to the world was the United States. See, the one world government, all the rest of it, the mark of the beast and all that stuff, that's all coming. And the biggest impedance to that was the United States. Because England's nothing now already. It just went out, it went out with a whimper. But there's resistance in the United States are also being transmogrified, downwardly transcended, degraded, brainwashed. Well, in the Grants Pass, they're going to have a Second Amendment right march on July the 4th. You know, they're going to be thousands of people. They're not going to carry weapons, but they're going to march. Young people, old people, thousands of people. They're not going to carry weapons, but they're going to march. Young people, old people are going to be marching. The newspaper won't cover it, guarantee you. They'll say only a few people came. But there's resistance and there's talk of revolution in America. There's talk of it on the talk shows. They're sick and tired of it. They know what's in America. There's talk of it on the talk shows. They're sick and tired of it. They know what went on in Waco. That was just a warning to, if you pardon the expression, white folks, white Christian Protestants, to watch out and watch themselves. There's attacks on Christianity now already in progress. White males in Christianity now already in progress. White males in Christianity destroy religion. But they're destroying the backbone of the country psychologically. The psychological warfare being waged. And on my show, we talk about it. Psychological warfare, folks, this is how you deal with it. And the media around is scared to death. And we are the most popular station in the area. Everybody listens. Some of them are not sure they like it. But this ordinary folk do like. The ordinary folk seem to like the dead straight from the shoulder, from the hip truth. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of re-education going on in my little area. And now we'll start networking, because I told my friends we have to become the media in order to change things. You've got to become the media. You've got to become the propaganda machine against the propaganda machine. That's why I hope we can get together and get a radio station. I don't know about my foundation friends here. We're not a strange organization like other organizations are. Either you like us or you don't. And you like what I say, you're in. If you don't like what I say, go play, anything. Play the band or something. Play the drums. I have an uplink from America. I already have uplinks. All the technology, we've got it all in place, because the stations in America pick us up. 98 affiliates picking up big stations too. The St. Louis, Chicago, places like that. And I can do a radio talk show from my studio, and it sounds like I'm in London. And we can do something, but I just need a little help from friends. If the help is there, if you feel like this is a worthy organization, you might want to, talk to somebody and you might want to help. It's taken 35 years to get just a few people together in America, because people haven't got the courage to stay the course. As soon as a little persecution comes away, as soon as the name shot, you know what the newspapers do to you. As soon as a little by association, they pretend like they don't know you. On top of that, they hate you, because they realize they failed and you still shine. And the only way they can bear the pain of that is to see something wrong with you. Happens all the time. So there is falling out in the ranks, so to speak, but it doesn't bother me a bit. Just house cleaning, that's all that I see it as. The good ones stay, the bad ones go. Yes, young lady. Yes, young lady. I can't speak for you. I know what for me. I know for me up where I am is the safest place on earth. It's the furthest place from wars. It's the best climate, probably one of the finest climates in the world, where you have a little snow in the winter. That's it, once in a while, but it's sunshine, and the things grow 9 months of the year. It's 300 miles, almost 300 miles from the nearest big city, a tank of gas away. One in the state the size of England. Actually, big as California. I don't know. I think that England's about as big as California. 3 million people. There's opportunity there. The roads, when it comes, it's going to happen. There's a lot of survivalists up there. They just block off the roads and we're safe. Nobody can get through it. We're safe. Nobody can get through it. It's the end of it. Too much mountainous country, too much hills. We just cut off. The world can go to hell. The world will go to hell. You're going to see horror like you have never seen in your life before. If you're going to live here, I'm not saying everybody should run to California or to, but if you're going to live here, you better be prepared for it. But if you're going to live here, you better be prepared for it. You better, take a big gulp and be ready for it. You'll never know. You won't know. Because the ones you see are just puppets. They are change agents. As a matter of fact, once it becomes the state, it has all the money it has in the world it needs to transmogrify all of you, your money, taxes. You don't know what they do with that money, do you? Does anybody know what they do with your money? Where's the accountability? You don't know? No. The Federal Reserve has never been... Louder. What's the EC? Oh, AFU.
Last year, found out that the imposition of the ANC in the UK was actually threatening people's business rights and more independence.
There you go.
I got to today, in class, then got to the government and class, they told me that even though we had harmonised tax rates, it was within the European sectors to be accepted in many states. Then I went on, you'll have a shock when I tell you this, £33 billion on the nuclear guidance missile coming from the UK together. The UK government.
Well, we've got to be careful about...
Published figures, and that's been 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say here is that I'm trying to... Yeah, the only thing I want to say here is that I'm trying to keep things in a philosophical containment, context. We get offered to all these little tangents to see how quickly we're going to get off the well at £33 billion. No, it's £33 million. And, you know, well, it's been there all the time. No, it hasn't. I just found about it. £3 million. And, you know, well, it's been there all the time. No, it hasn't. I just found about it. And, no, that's all hearsay. You have to understand it's happening. And there's not enough of us. So the more of us that can be aware, the less it could happen. But the more of us that can be programmed and have the wool pulled over our eyes, programmed and have the wool pulled over our eyes, and eventually stressed to the point of saying, hey, what's the use? This is the way. I find that English people are so programmed. You know, I come to this country, I think our taxes over there are bad enough. We want to strangle President Clinton, but to spend money over here because everything costs in pounds what it costs in dollars over there. And when I realize how much taxes you pay, then you pay 17% on top of that. Then you pay $5 a gallon for gas, or whatever it is. £3, it's like $5, isn't it? $5 a gallon, we only pay $1.19. And that's with taxes. Half of that's taxes. So you know who's making the money. They're raking in the bucks. And then you buy a nothing car here. The cars cost twice as much. It's all tax. Nothing car here. The cars cost twice as much. It's all tax. You have to be stupid to put up with it. But you do. You are financing your own downfall, is what you're all doing. And saying, what can you do? I hear everybody gripe and get upset. That's the secret. I hear everybody gripe and get upset. That's the secret. Get upset, give in. Get upset because the bully is bigger than you. And if you get upset, pretty soon you become transformed. It happens to wimpy husbands. You have a wife that they settle down, they start to be a little bit happy, and she starts pushing a will around. He reacts, and then because he needs his sex, he gives in. In the beginning, that's what he's giving in for. He doesn't want to rock the boat. He got something steady. Pardon me putting it that way. And then he reacts again. And he doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to lose anything. You've got to be willing to lose something to stand up for yourself. That's the whole principle. After a while, he gives her more power and she takes more advantage. She becomes more and more strong. He becomes weak. Anything you say, dear? And this is an Englishman. Anything you say, dear? To the government. Is that right? And they become more and more reasonable, and they get more and more encouraged, willful, and that's when you see a dictator. Things seems to be sort of plodding along, all right. But you know, some of you got it, and some of you don't got it. But as more of you don't got it, you gripe about the people who do get it. You become hostile. Because you don't have it, you start to become hostile to the people who don't have it. And you want to take from them, and you become just like the rest of everybody else. It's called class envy. That's the communist technique. To take over a country is to create class envy. Look, he's got it. He's going to pay his fair share. Give it to us. Yes, that's right. But you see, England shouldn't put up with that stuff. Okay? England shouldn't put up with that stuff. Okay? But you do. You're slowly conditioned to think like to become like the rest of them, and to think like the rest of them, to the few that's left. See? That's right. That's right. The enemy. I'm standing. Look, explain these things, and talk to the. I have a lot of black listeners in inner cities. They love me. I understand them, and I turn around and say, look. Do you understand what the white liberal elite are doing to you? See? They're socialists. They're just using you as a battering ram. They're just pretending to love you. Under the guise of saccharine guise of loving you and giving you a handout, they're making you dependent. They've driven the men out of the home and substitute themselves as the father of your children. And substitute themselves as the father of your children. I said, look what it's doing to you. Now your anger has to go somewhere, right? And the anger has to go somewhere. You take it out at each other. That's black on black crime. In America, that's black on black. You can't fight what you don't see. The white population is in America. That's black on black. You can't fight what you don't see. The white population is larger than the black. So the anger is the liberals, the liberal left, turn the anger. See, when you are frustrated, let me just see if I can make this point. If I traumatize you, and you don't have the grace to resist, you become transformed. You become like me, and you seek my approval, and I give it to you, and I give it to you as long as you do as I tell you. And I'll yell at you and be cruel to you, and you can't handle that because then you need more of my love, and you become a servant, an agent, a code agent with me. Hatred towards what is now recreated in the image. You need the love. And so now to get the love, you have to do what the person who's horrified you.
For more information, please write to FHU 27 Old Gloucester Street, London, WC1N 3A.